So because Bambu Lab is such a habitual violator of the AGPL license, the SFC has determined that they're just going to sidestep all this court nonsense and they're going to go ahead and reverse engineer the Bambu Lab network plugin. Yeah, you heard that right. Bambu Studio is essentially going to be fully open source. Just like I said in the title of my last video that some of you guys said was clickbait, Bambu is essentially about to be forced to be open source, as they should be. So the SFC, which is a nonprofit, the Software Freedom Conservancy, their sole existence is copyleft compliance. And they've decided to take this project on, trying to raise $250,000, of which they've already raised $60,000. They publicly stated that Bambu has been a habitual violator of the AGPL license. Bambu Studio is built on an open source platform, and because of that, they're supposed to release every bit of source code that has to do with that slicer. Until this day, according to the SFC, they still haven't done so. Now, have they released most of it? Yeah, but there's still some stuff that they have not released. As the SFC said in their statement, the incomplete source code files, they will be using those, and they're also going to be attacking the network plugin and reverse engineering that. My stance in my last video was that I felt like everybody was focused on Powell and what Bambu made him do, take down his stuff, and them picking on the little guy and stuff, and everybody didn't really see the big picture. And so I did a deep dive. I even reached out to Bambu Lab. I spoke to Louis Rossman about this, and I kept coming back to who cares about how Powell accessed that network plugin? Like, who cares? Because honestly, I felt like the network plugin shouldn't have been closed source from the beginning because it was built on top of an open source project. And in the AGPL, it specifically lists network plugins that can't be built on top of open source projects. You don't get to do that and then claim that that's closed source. Now, here's the argument that a lot of people are trying to make, and Bambu themselves, that the network plugin, it's totally separate. We built this. This is ours. It has nothing to do with the slicer. But you and I both know that that's not true. The network plugin solely exists to function with that slicer. It communicates with the slicer. You use it on a daily basis if you're using the slicer over a network. So take the slicer away, what good is the plugin? It's useless. So I think it's safe to say that their argument that it's so separate that it's something different, it kind of falls flat on its face. And I mean, I don't understand how people don't see that. So I was definitely questioning myself in my last video. If you go take a look, I clearly said, hey guys, I'm not even sure if I'm 100% right here. I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong. But turns out I was right because the FSC, they actually agree. They don't feel like the network plugin should be closed source because it so heavily relies on this open source software that it really wouldn't even exist if it wasn't for Bambu Studio, the open source software. So what does all this mean for us, and when are we going to see results? Well, here's the good news. Because the SFC has decided to basically bypass this whole court system bullshit, they're going to go ahead and just reverse engineer the network plugin. And what that means is we're probably going to see results here in the next few months versus 2 or 3 years down the road. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw results here in the next couple of months. I would say 6 months tops. And you may ask, well, okay, well, what does this do for you and me? Well, honestly, it gives you the same freedoms that you had when you initially bought your printer. It's basically giving them back to you, allowing you to communicate with your printer however you see fit, integrated into your workflow, and also without having to report back to Bambu through their network plugin. There's a reason why they want us to use their network plugin. And it's not because they just have some awesome network plugin that only they can build. It's because they want to route our data, our IP, our everything through their network. That means they get to get their little hands on all the data and IP before it comes back this way. And I'll let that sink in for a second. Just think about it. Why do you think they want all the data to run through them? Exactly. So I don't think for a minute that Bambu is going to sit back and watch this happen quietly. I think right now they're probably scrambling behind closed doors to try to cover up anything that they don't want out in the public that's in that network plugin, because I can almost guarantee you there's some things in that network plugin that they're trying to keep closed source for a reason. Because honestly, there's nothing groundbreaking or innovative about their network plugin that they're trying to keep it to themselves where, oh, we don't want to share this because it's like the first time something like this has ever been built. That's not the case. There's a reason why they're trying to keep that closed source. And it's not because it's a one-off super cool network plugin that does all this special stuff that no one else can build. Now again, I could be wrong, just like I'll say it like I did in the last video. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. At this point, I think it's pretty obvious what's going on. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're probably like, well, you have a Bambu printer right behind you. And you're right, I do. I never said they made bad machines. I'm simply saying that they're violating the AGPL license and they need to get in compliance. That's it. Now, I do think that they're mining data. I can't prove that, but honestly, who's not nowadays? I'm pretty sure even the US is doing the same thing. So I would highly suggest if you're 3D printing things other than slinky dragons and cool toys for the kids, and you're actually printing with a purpose, I call it, printing stuff for customers that are prototypes, one-off things that have actual valuable IP, I definitely wouldn't be sending that stuff over any network like that. That's where a good old USB stick comes in handy. Just simply take that bad boy, walk it over to the printer and plug it in. It takes 2 seconds. Or you can set up a VLAN network, and then you don't have to worry about your printer reaching out to outside sources and talking to other things outside your network. Maybe I should do a video on how to set up a VLAN with 3D printers. Who knows? If you guys want to know, let me know down in the comments. And if you're wondering how you can help support during all this stuff, you can go to the SFC's website. They're a nonprofit. You can donate there, probably for a tax deduction. Or I was thinking about selling these t-shirts and this sticker pack. You guys let me know what you think about that. And if you guys like it, I'll post it on Shopify and you guys can buy those. Now, what I thought to do was basically take that money and donate it to the SFC. That way you guys can donate, you get a cool t-shirt and some cool stickers. And then I also thought about just selling these. So you guys let me know in the comments. Should we sell these and donate the money to the SFC, or should I just sell them? Now, I saw some comments on the last video saying how only a small group of people even care about this stuff. And honestly, you're probably right. There is a small group of people like me and others who care about things like this. But I feel that everyone in the whole 3D printing community will benefit from this. Anytime we hold big companies accountable, we only stand to benefit. But I also feel like there's more people that care about this than you think. I've had people that didn't even own 3D printers commenting on my last video, saying how they didn't even own a 3D printer, but they didn't like what was going on whatsoever. People just don't like it whenever a big company takes advantage of us, the little guys. And that's one thing about the 3D printing community. There's camaraderie, there's community. That's one of the things that actually drew me into 3D printing, was the community initially. So regardless of the extra side money that we raise, if we raise any, we're going to be donating $5,000 of our own money to the initiative. I know it's not much, and there's people out there that can do a lot more than we can. I'm just a solo guy. I fund this channel 100% out of my pocket. We don't have big time sponsors and all that stuff. Now, granted, sometimes we get paid for videos, and that's how I keep this channel going. And when I say going, I mean barely going, but we're making it thanks to you guys. The support that you guys have shown has allowed us to keep the doors open, keep the videos coming, and just grow and get better. And that's why I care about things like this, because just like you guys, I'm in here printing every day. I do this as a business. I sell custom pieces to customers. I work with companies. And when these big companies try to step in and basically hinder your workflow on a machine that you previously paid for, agreed to something, and then after you get the machine, that agreement changes. And they're not upholding what they agreed to, which is to make everything open source. Because you got to think, they used an open source software to build their slicer. So they agreed at that moment. They said, okay, we're going to use that slicer. We're going to keep it open source. Bambu said, okay, great. That's what we're going to do. But the thing is, they haven't done that. To this day, they still haven't released every single source code that they're supposed to release. And honestly, I haven't checked in a while, but I don't think Creality has either. That's part of the game. If you're gonna take this free thing that someone else spent a ton of time building, and that person says, yeah, you can use it, but you have to give it away also, then that's kind of the game. You got to give it away. Or what they can do is they can go spend a bunch of money and a bunch of time and build their own software. Then you can be as stingy as you want to with it. You don't have to share it with anybody. But until then, they're going to have to comply with the AGPL. That's just how it is. There's no way around it. And yes, if you build network plugins that link and sit right on top of that open source software, yes, those are subject to it too. So yeah, that's the update, guys. The SFC has joined the battle. That's super exciting. That's actually huge. That just basically took this fight from a backyard brawl to basically a professional boxing match. You got two big dogs here going head to head, and honestly, both of them are experienced, and I guess we'll just see who comes out on top. Will big corporate win, or will the underdog prevail? Who knows? Anyways, until next time, or until Bambu does something crazy again, we'll see you next time.